so true. And this is what we need to culture. This is what we need to have, those kind of safe spaces. This is what we need to bring people together, so that people know that, if I don't feel well, it's okay to say I don't feel well, and that there are systems in place to help you work through that resolving of your feelings. And again, going back to what you just said about having the guys accustomed to be out on the block, and suddenly your police running you when you're on the block, so you have to stay home. So the only avenue that they knew how to relieve stress
Is to
has now
slap
been
up.
taken away, and then you get home, everything else, so it's not like you're making excuses, but the idea is you need to understand the problem so that you can help fix it. And when you really, really critically think about how we've been doing these things, that is the only way to then say, okay, this is what we need to do. We need to really, really have counselors available. We need to have the government actually step in and provide the social support that is necessary. Because when you look at what happened during COVID, many of the social grants and so forth that people were waiting for, they're still waiting for them. The rental relief and the salary relief and all of that, they're still waiting for them.
So what about back pays?
Exactly. But and even being paid at the right salary and all of that, still waiting for them. And it's sad that we continue to shortchange those kinds of services, and then you hear of some very outlandish things where we are spending, $30,000 and $40,000 on a bus shed that is yay big. And it's like, are you serious? We have real issues. We have
Are
real
we
problems.
serious for real? Because we have men being paid by the government as trade men. Why you need extra money now to build that?
Exactly.
Now,
and
before you go further,
Mhm.
do you like the way that they're using their food cards?
Well, no, because what we know for a fact that these food cards have been political tools. Not even just the food card. Listen. On election day, somebody actually called me and told me that on election day they were giving out food cards in some of the cars that were coming to pick up people, food cards and vouchers and so forth. So they are not even they weren't even trying to be
Discreet.
discreet about it. I think they had already given up on discretion. They were just giving out things and trying to buy people's votes. But I think people are recognizing that those things are very temporary.
So we call that bribing?
It's bribing, yeah, it's bribing. In many instances, people took the bribe and still did not vote for them, which is why I think they were so surprised by the 6-6
Well,
result.
they told voters the last election, take the money and run.
Mm-hmm.
And run them. That was the
Yes,
word. That's
exactly.
what Shamfa Kojo, I just call name. That was Shamfa Kojo said.
And take the roof, fix the roof, and no vote for us. Yeah,
And
yeah.
don't vote for it.
Mm-hmm.
So then now we can claim what kind of dog was around, because payback is a female dog.
Fact. So true. That is so true. But again, it goes back to Begonians showing that they are not stupid. Because for you to
I'm
continue
so
doing,
glad.
yeah, showing, because for you to continue using those same kind of just before election is when you paving every single road. Just before election, you're suddenly getting all of these things. And people are recognizing that, hey, you tried this on me once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times. I mean, I have sense.
Yes, you tried to me so many times.
Mm-hmm.
But the real party that helped in season and out of season, it was the PDP.
Exactly. And we helped without resources. When you say when the PDP help you, it's because we really help you. I mean,
That's right. They really help you.
there are many instances where people don't even know that they would come to me and ask for support, and I legit took my last $100 or $200 because I know that I could get a job to get home.
Hey.
And gave it because I know that person really needed that, and that I could, once I get home, I good. Somebody must see fit and give me a ride home.
So what would the PDP government do to help Dr. fix the area there in Belle Garden with the cars?
Well, that is something that is one we need to, again, it goes back to Tobago having the kind of autonomy that we need, because a part of the issue with that is the public health laws that we have, and the fact that the THA has not been able to make the public health laws that are necessary for Tobago to function. Now, in a situation like that, he just
I think
needs
he
a
needs help. He
space.
need
He,
help.
no, he needs help, yes, and he needs a space, and that is where you have to then rethink. Okay, we have all of these state lands all over the place. We have other lands in different places. Let us set up a proper shop for you so that you can do the good work. Because the reason he has so many customers is because he does very good work. So
Yes.
let us think of another place where you can do that work instead of being where you are. But that is a conversation that we have to work with. And again, people need to recognize that what the PDP has been talking about is not coming down with a big stick, or not just trying to push you out, or not just as Whitey says, not giving you a handout but a hand up. That has been our philosophy, to ensure that you are comfortable transitioning. And that's why one of the policies that we had even talking about in the election time is that what we want to do is to move people out of the Tobago House, out of being employed in the Tobago House of Assembly. But it's not just kicking you out, it's not just firing you. It's actually working through a process where we are encouraging you to start businesses and so forth. And like for the first year of you working on your business, you work a certain percentage of time with the THA, but we understand that you're building a business and you get your full salary. And by the second year, because you've been spending the first year building a business, you work less time with the THA, more time on your business, and we give you part of your salary. So by 2-3 years down the road, you have completely been weaned off of the Tobago House of Assembly and you have a thriving business. And it's stuff like this that we have been championing, and stuff like this we
Yes.
want to
Yes.
push, because we know that people need help, but people need help being coaxed into the right direction and not just being kicked out.
Yes. Hallelujah. Dr. Faith, I am telling you this evening, Assemblyman, Faith B.Yisrael, you
Yes,
have
yes.
a wealth of comforting information.
Thank you. Thank
Information
you.
that people need to know. Well, I could afford to go into Dr. Faith's office and talk to her, and I will get some results. So,
Yes.
Dr. Faith, we are going to turn now to some of the questions and some of the statements that people, have made. So, when
Okay.
you are reading them now, you're going to say who it is that you are reading about.
Okay, no problem. So Epi Bridgeling says, yes, hallelujah. And we need a decent and competent Secretary of Health. Well, yes.
Yes. So, before you go further, are you up for that post?
Well, yes, that I was hoping that by now I would have already started working in that position, because that is what my training is. Having quality healthcare is what I've actually even taught. So, for example, for the last, well, not 2020, because nothing happened in 2020, but for years before that, I actually have been going to Trinidad to Arthur Jack, teaching courses on improving quality of healthcare and that kind of thing. So I really want an opportunity to do that in Tobago.
Amen. So, we have a lot of questions. We could notice a lot of people.
Yes, yes, yes.
They are here
So,
for you.
Luan Melvin Charles says domestic violence greatly impacts one's emotional, physical health. What policies will you consider implementing to raise awareness on the issue? Well, that is critical. One, we need to, it's not a matter of awareness, because I think we are quite aware of the issues. What we need to have is systems in place to treat with it. Systems in place to treat with it. So, so for example, what happens when you go to the police? The police need to know exactly what is the process. Although they have a gender-based violence unit now, that's a very good step. But I think work still needs to be done. Within our system, our social support system, we need to have the clear policies on how you treat with this, the timelines, the fact that if somebody comes to your office who does not look, not well dressed, it's okay. We are providing social services. The security should not say you need to put on a jacket because that person is coming for help. No, things like this is what we need to put in place to ensure that it's working. Mm-hmm. Okay, your mic is muted, it seems.
She mute my mic. I don't know why.
Okay, now it's off. Now it's back on. Okay, so Janelle James Alexander says, we in Tobago will show you all how to wake up. So you will all follow suit. Oh, you mean like Trinidad would follow suit? Yes, Tobago will be the one. And as a matter of fact, I actually met yesterday, I met some Trinidadians, and they are so excited about what's happening in politics
Yes.
in Tobago. They are very, very excited about what's happening in
Yes.
politics in Tobago. Yes. Alicia Gonzalez said, Agatha Mashup Health and Tracy fully supported that to its death. I'm not even going to comment on that.
No, that's a chuckle. That is for a chuckle.
Jason King, I second that the red man that get voted out busy giving out jobs and money, hoping to get voted in when the next election will call. Watch them
Who's that,
PDP
Kwesi?
Spartans and vote them out. Actually, I understand that they've been giving
Who
out
is the
jobs
red
like
man?
that.
Who is the red man,
Well,
Kwesi?
I assume that is who he's talking about in Mason Hall, Mariah, because he is still the secretary with responsibility for works, basically.
Why? I thought the assembly was dissolved.
Well, okay, so the situation with that, let me explain very quickly. You know, there's a difference between something that is legal and something that is right or something that is ethical. So what way the law is written, and again, it shows that the law is slightly flawed. Where the law is written, it basically says that until a chief secretary and exec council is newly installed, the old one basically continues functioning. So it is that little loophole that they are using to keep working, to keep doing what they are doing. And it was kind of placed like that for continuity of governance. So let's just say we have an election. PDP outrightly won the election, so there's no question about that. But there, for example, is a hurricane the day when we should have been inaugurated and we couldn't go through the process. Then you need to have a system where the government continues and does not just stop. So it was kind of put in place.
So do you think they just these people they're enjoying happy hour so that they can afford to cover up things, bury things, tear up things?
I am sure that is what is happening, because if they were honest with themselves, they would know that it is not their rightful position to be there. Yes, technically it is legal according to the law, but there is a difference between what is legal and what is right, and what is legal and what is democratic. Because at one point,
is there an oversight committee? Is there
that is the problem, because right now, because the assembly legislature is not duly constituted, there is no opportunity for us to come to the House, for example, and ask them questions, or for us to have a public accounts committee or anything like that. So what people don't recognize is that they are there doing what they want, and there is no oversight. And if you look at the Auditor General report from 2016 that we were speaking about during the election, you will recognize that a lot of the things that were happening, the $3 million zip line and all of that, was happening at a period where there was no opposition in Tobago, where it was 12-0. So we now have a situation where they are there running wild. They are hiring people like crazy. They are giving out contracts. They are all sorts of madness that's happening. But I'm really, really honestly hoping that Tobagonians are watching and Tobagonians are paying very close attention to how unfair and how unethical these people are, and that they would treat them accordingly when the time comes around. So, Ayana,
more questions?
Yes, Keon Clark said, if the THA issue isn't fixed before the budget day, who is going to read the fiscal package of the THA in September? Important point, because the THA Act says that we have to lay a budget in the House several months before the actual national budget. So all of these things that are hanging in the balance. There's even part of the THA Act, section 62 or 63, that says that there needs to be the first sitting of the House, the first ordinary sitting of the House needs to happen within 15 days of when we were inaugurating. 15 days of that is Friday. So again,
I want to ask you to see if you could say yes or no or elaborate on it. How long will this thing go on for? Are they trying to just keep it as long as they want it so that they keep you guys out from performing?
Well, it seems like that is what they are trying to do, because even when they speak about it, they talk about just, letting us go and letting us do this for the next 6 months until they change the law, until they think, which is ridiculous, because there are provisions right now to fix it. And I know when I talk to people about flipping a coin, People don't like that. But it's not a matter of what we like. It's a matter of what the rule says should happen. Because if we flip the coin and heaven forbids the PDP gets into opposition, or not even get into opposition, because remember the flipping of the coin is just to determine who is the presiding or who is the presiding officer. And then we do the rest of the process. Even if our presiding officer isn't picked when you flip the coin, we still have the entire process within the assembly to have checks and balances on them while they are functioning. While right now there is nothing to provide checks and balances. And that's why Assemblyman Farley has always said that flipping the coin is the fairest thing to do because of what we are now. And he is willing to not be the chief secretary, but to have the system work properly over the next couple of years, if that is what it takes. And that is what we have been saying for the longest while. This issue could have been resolved on day one if the clerk had just done what the rules say. If the clerk had just done what the rules say, it could have been resolved.
Well, we have a lot more. Let me tell you something. Every time you come here, you can't make one trip. You have to always be coming back, because so many things we have to talk with you about.
Yes,
we have
yes,
another.
yes.
We have another person here, Avanel
So,
Hazel.
Avanel Hazel said all that money for a bus shed, and many children have no access to computers to do classwork in Tobago and Trinidad.
Expound. That's right.
It's
Expound on that.
ridiculous.
Tell us about the bus shed.
So we found out just before the election that there was a contract of $208,000 to construct 5 or 6 bus sheds. There was one bus shed that is a brand new bus shed, and 5 that were refurbished bus sheds. Okay.
So were they done by Tobagonians, really?
The contract, the company is a Tobago-based company. But that is ridiculous because it means that it is what, $20-something thousand for a bus shed. And I drove around the island on Saturday and I saw 2 or 3 of the bus sheds, and I almost fell off of my seat when I saw the bus shed. They are yay big. If you stand in the bus shed and stretch your hands out,
how many people you think can be accommodated in there if rain?
Listen, rain falling and you're getting wet. It does, even if it's you alone in there. When rain falls, you're gonna get wet. And if you look at COVID and social distancing and so forth, the size of those bus sheds can accommodate about 2 people right now.
What?
Yes.
Look at my niece comment there. Dawn panting.
Bus sheds with no seats, not even for the elderly. Exactly. It's ridiculous. I mean, when you look at them, they look like a little dolly house. That is exactly how they look, like a little dolly house.
So they build latrines.
It's ridiculous, and painted them.
You know the portable latrines, how they are, that size.
Yes.
So are they that size or
they are bigger than that. If you put maybe 3 of those stacked up, that is the size of them. It is really, and you were right in terms of talking about the number of artisans, the number of workmen we have working within the Tobago House of Assembly.
That's right.
I don't mind if you say, well, okay, you spend $5,000 or $10,000 on material and have the guys who are already doing
being paid
and
sit down and listen, get this straight, mama. They have them sitting down underneath people's houses because they have no materials.
Exactly.
And they're being paid.
Exactly.
You know when they were changing up signs in country, right? Maybe all over Tobago, and they were naming
the different
streets and so on. Do you know that the crew was from Trinidad that was walking?
I heard about that after the fact.
Well, I was right there in Argyle, and I was across the road, and the van come there to change the sign by the center and to change to Popo Hill. And then we grew up with occasion call. They changed it to Breadfruit Alley. While we were walking, the gangs walking Breadfruit Alley, you're going to walk on bread. Because, I'm a checker.
Yes,
I can speak this language. And now in there it's called Popo Hill. Out the road called this. By the center called that. And they don't know the name of the roads. Because that road that going in from the center there, that road have a name.
True.
Let's read us again.
So Luan Melville Charles says, how would you ensure that appropriate primary care services at Roxborough would meet the health needs of the people in Tobago East? Oh gosh, I think I need a whole show to talk
Show.
about the situation with healthcare in Tobago, particularly since, Mama Coco, they went just before elections and opened the quote unquote Roxborough mini hospital. And you could ask anybody in Roxborough right now whether there is a single bed in that building, whether they've seen a single patient in that building, because no. What they did, we understand that they actually rented some of the equipment to have the grand opening, and that they are now, if you look at, even if you look at the TRHA website, you recognize that they are now looking to hire the staff. So
Oh,
what they were
wow.
hoping to do, yes, what they were hoping we would not have noticed is that they were just trying to remove the staff and so forth from the Roxborough Health Center and move them over to the new hospital. There are no A&E, meaning accident and emergency services at that hospital right now. None. If you
None.
get sick and you need emergency care, you better head to Signal Hill. Don't go to Roxborough, because especially late in the night when the health center isn't normally open, head to Scarborough, head to Signal Hill, because there are no services like that.
Wow. Papi
And we
show.
exactly, and we have an opportunity to actually have a real proper system on the island there, where you could get proper emergency services. When you look at it and you strategically think about it, it may not even be wise to have a full-fledged hospital there when you look at the cost of managing and running a hospital and trying to have all of the equipment and everything that's necessary. But if you have proper A&E services that could stabilize you quickly and then take you, basic things you could do there, but then take you somewhere else, take you to Signal Hill for greater service. That is what is necessary. We also need to have proper ambulance services
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
exactly district,
With
so that
fibrillators and everything, I understand they don't have it.
and again, when you talk about the ambulance service, what you need to do is increase the level of emergency care that can be provided on the ambulance.
Amen.
Unfortunately, right now we are at basic, practically level one. In essence, when you get on an ambulance in Tobago right now, you're getting a ride to the hospital. You're not really getting accident and emergency care, because the technicians on the ambulance do not have the training and
Training.
do not have the certificate to provide anything other than oxygen and
Some
take
people
the blood
working in
pressure.
ambulance tell me that they afraid blood. They hate blood. And you walking
On an
on an
ambulance.
ambulance? Let's
Exactly.
move on. Moving on.
Exactly. Diana Devine says, what became of White Up? So White Up is actually okay. So because of COVID, in 2020, a lot of these training programs had to close down a little bit. But White Up and those MIC and those things are slowly reopening on the island. Mary Tates Mitchell said, Tracy brother is busy giving out jobs in Mason Hall. Gangs are overcrowded and he is a supervisor here.
Hmm.
Exactly.
Sigh.
Exactly. Avanel Hayes and fixing road with taxpayer dollars, but trying to promote that they did some great good. The road should not have had to be underdeveloped in this 2021. It's an infrastructure that should have been upkept, doing no favors. And even that, listen, when they were about to open the hospital, they paved the road from the entrance of Roxborough entrance by the
Yeah.
thing up to the hospital. They didn't even continue paving the road up to like Roxborough sector. So let's say, well,
Smooth
let
it
me
off.
drive them a little, smooth the whole thing. They stopped right at the hospital. I'm like, you people are something else. Joanne Collins said, thank you, Dr. B.Yisrael. Nicole Thomas, blessings to you, my era rep, Dr. Faith. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you so much. Martin Lewis and Labre, people should follow Tobago. I agree. Whole of Trinidad should follow Tobago with this one. Whole of Trinidad. Ram said, proud of PDP in Tobago. Thank you, thank you. Very educated people in this party. Thank you. Well, we've actually gone through a process of picking people who we know who would be very good representative, because that is what they were doing, and who would be competent to run divisions after they got elected. So
Yeah.
we were very, very careful in how we picked our candidates.
But you guys are doing. You could tell me, where do they pick up people all these years? Just grab you because you're my friend. Grab
Yeah.
you. No one ever go into the assembly and you are the right person for the post. They have now Denise Oyafat, who is the only trained doctor, and they treat this woman like crap. Well, woman to woman, I know she's not on your side. She's doing her own thing. But what could you say about the treatment of a woman in politics?
Well, Dr. Angus and I actually worked together at Health when she was the advisor for Health and so forth. And we've always had a very cordial working relationship. And we've always been able to put politics aside because I appreciate her, what she brought to the table, and she's able to appreciate what I brought to the table. And so it's amazing that is how they treat their own. But it also tells you if that is how they treat their own, imagine what they do to their enemies. And I have always been very cautious of people who would treat their own like dog and then want to convince me that they love me. No, 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 no.
Hello.
I am not buying that at all, at all, at all. Patrina Legal said, how will you treat with the issue of transferring patients via helicopter, especially when critically ill, long waiting times in A&E, lack of specialists in Tobago, etc. The list goes on, and we need to build capacity right here. And she's right. One of the things we need to rethink is how we unfortunately, over the last 20 years, and I actually heard Mr. London say it when we were talking about a university for Tobago, where he said Tobago does not have enough people for a university. Unfortunately, that is the mindset that we've had in Tobago for quite some time. We need to shift that mindset. We need to think about having Tobago provide services not just for Tobagonians, but for the world. And if we think about healthcare like that, we would then say, let us bring the specialists to Tobago so that instead of us flying to Trinidad, Trinidadians can fly to Tobago to get the specialty care that is necessary. That is how we have to rethink these things, and having specialists here, having proper services here. We have to think about not just tourism, but medical tourism as one of our options on the island, and that would ensure that we have the specialists on the island to do what is necessary.
So I understand, well, using the word alleged, that Mr. London is now being employed again to receive
Really?
to receive $100,000 a month, working with Ansel Dennis as his advisor. I want to know where this information can come from and why is Orville receiving another tax benefit in the form of a new role in the Tobago House of Assembly. That's the message I received, and that this guy that lost his seat, he will be working in the area of agriculture. His calendar, whoever lost the seat, maybe who you won from.
Right. Now, Tobagonians, I want you all to pay very special attention to what's going on, because we had the puppy show of them asking the secretaries who did not contest or the secretaries who lost to step down. And then we recognized shortly after that those secretaries were then rehired as advisors. So they very publicly said, oh, we've asked them to step down, they've stepped down. And then quietly, before they could even step down, gave them a contract to be an advisor. And you are right in terms of the very high salaries that they are paying these people, while they are people who are working for $2,000 and $3,000 a month and can't get their salary. Tobagonians, you all need to pay very, very close attention to what's happening. I hope to God it is not true about Mr. London being rehired. I hope so. I hope that is just rumor, Mama Coco, and that is not true.
I myself.
Because that would just be absolutely ridiculous when there are so many unemployed and underemployed professionals on this island who need jobs and who are fully trained in different areas but are working in jobs that have nothing to do with their training, and they keep saying that they don't have money to do it. If this, I really hope this is not true. I really, really hope this is not
Me
true.
too. Moving on again.
Mm-hmm.
You have another one from Mary Dates.
Mitchell said, healthcare professionals in the UK and the US want to come home. How will you entice us? Not just healthcare professionals. As a matter of fact, one of the things that the PDP
she's a nurse.
She's a nurse, okay.
From Dallaford.
One of the things that the PDP has been pushing is to try to repatriate our professionals generally, and to say to you, come home with your skills and your talents, and we would help you with several things. One, if you need lands, we could give you low-cost lands, help you to get loans and so forth. But you have to come and do something. You have to set up a business. And then when you set up a business, you have to hire people from the community because it's part of the process of weaning people off of the THA and developing the private sector on the island. So it's stuff like that that we have been pushing and we have been advocating for. So if you are in health professional, if you are in IT, any professional that you are Tobagonian and want to come home, we want you to come home and we want you to come home and help build the private sector here. Mm-hmm. Uh, Avanel here.
Avanel.
Would you support doing co-ops and sending workers for training like ophthalmology and X-ray technology, diagnostic services, dental, and many more specialty in any to have available to come back and practice in their communities? Yes, yes, certainly, because that is what we need. We need up to date. We need people who have specialty training that is up to date because we recognize that in many instances, the training that happened was, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and they've not updated their skills since then. And we definitely need medicine changes all the time. It's continually evolving, and we need to continually evolve with it. Kellyanne said, how is it persons are being hired in works allegedly when there is a hiring freeze in the country? I'm asking the same question too. I am asking the same question too. But I'm glad Tobagonians are hearing and Tobagonians are seeing and Tobagonians are recognizing the kind of unethical practices that they're going on with.
Hallelujah. Well, my people, I don't know how much more you guys want. You guys are taking advantage now, okay? On Dr. Faith. Dr. Faith, we are so impressed with you and we are excited to have you. The people love you. And this is transparency on steroids. So all who out there getting ready now to play that they want to talk back or talk forward, let's get ready. Tell them to go back and listen to the entire live. Everybody, go back and listen. Give your input because Dr. Faith will be going back into the live so that she will know what to answer next time and what she needs to expound on.
Yes,
So,
yes.
Dr. Faith, I'm excited. Can you give us your closing statements?
Sure. Well,
Taking into consideration that we hope that Mr. London is not being re-employed.
I hope so too. I hope so too. Closing statements. I want to first thank everyone who supported me in the election. Thank you, Goodwood-Belle Garden. Thank you, thank you. It is an honor to officially hold the title of Assemblyman of Area Representative for this district.
Hold up. You have to thank all my friends and them here in America, Joanne Cummins and all of them, Avanel. They back you and supported you. They behave like ride or die.
Mm-hmm.
Ride or
Yes,
die.
yes, that is true because the support we got from the diaspora was amazing. And there are people who are messaging now and say, even though they could not come home to vote, they call their family or call their friends and told them to please go out and vote for the PDP. So certainly, thank you so much. In closing, I want to say that, this is an opportunity for Tobago to redefine itself. It's an opportunity for us to take time to step back a little bit, think about where we are, think about where we can be, and think about the mechanisms that are available at our disposal right now to make the change that is necessary. Think about it and let's use this opportunity to execute because this island has such great potential. This island could be little Dubai. This island has that much potential that we can do whatever we want. We just to open our minds, think about it, envision it, and allow the PDP to work towards realizing those dreams. Thank you all so much for the opportunity. And we know that you will continue giving us the opportunity to do that.
So you ain't thanking me.
Well, Mama, thanks to you and your family and everybody,
Hallelujah.
Cindy and Winston and
Hallelujah.
everybody. Yes,
Hallelujah.
yes,
I know
yes.
I just tease it because I want to say something,
Yes.
God give us a surprise victory of 6-6.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know God wanted us to catch these people in their acts.
Yes.
So just like if you know somebody coming by you, you're going to clean up and stuff. But when you don't expect them, they can come and catch you with your posy on your counter in your kitchen.
So true.
So what God wanted, they're not providing it. Listen to me, and people's heads are going to spin. You see, the delay that they're having is just because they know that the Coco they had in sun, they didn't expect rain. You understand me?
Mm-hmm.
They tell themselves they was going to win this. Because you know, Tracy come back and she just started to get things to clean up. But God did this, but we're not respecting God. We're doing as if this is our thing, and it's we who caused this to happen. Today, I want to lift up this conversation, and I want to lift up what's happening before our God Jehovah. I'm not afraid to face my God because I know my God didn't afraid to face me. When I was called, I had to answer to my name. Just like in Adam. Adam knew what went wrong. Because Adam used to answer God the minute God just talked, Adam was right there. But because Adam was guilty, although he blaming Eve for everything, Adam, where art thou?
Mm-hmm.
Adam, where art thou? Adam, where art thou? Hiding from the Lord. Adam only hid because he was caught
Guilty.
and he was guilty. So this is what the PNM do. They're taking all this time to hide away everything. And look who they're bringing back into the fray. The man of the deepest corruption. The man that ran Tobago for 16 years. I cannot believe that they send him away to London. He did not one thing up there. He didn't improve the people of Trinidad and Tobago in London. And he come back in time now to see if he could finish clean up because they did not give Kelvin Charles enough time to clean up their mess. So he come back now and he said that some of the things that he really wanted to clean up, Kelvin didn't do it. So he coming back now to align himself right in with the chief set. The chief said that they don't want to depose us and they don't want a newness to happen. But let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. God says he's not an author of confusion.
True.
And he said he's in the affairs of every man. And if we have an affair going on in Tobago, let everybody tell themselves, God is in the midst of that.
True.
This election, God is in the midst of this. God asks for unity. Together we aspire, together we will achieve. PNM claiming that when we roll, we roll alone. God cut that. God said, no more rolling alone with my people. I sent Moses to do a job for me. Moses, go tell Pharaoh, let my people go.
True.
So when PNM get the chance to let Jehovah people go out of slavery and all the mentality and all the whatever, PNM, they didn't do the job. So God bring the PDP now. The people with the vision. The people with the vision. The Bible said that the young man have to come before the old men go.
True.
And the young people, you guys are here now. And you guys are ready to work. And I cannot see why Keith Rowley and this band of Sicilian mafias, so he who called himself mafia, you know. I don't know if people feel that it's we who calling them mafia. He said that we are like the mafia. And he named which former mafia.
True.
So my darling, I want to thank you so much for coming. And I hope next time you would come again. It would not be tomorrow, it will not be next week. But because we are so edified this evening, because God moved in such a mysterious way with you here today, that many things that we didn't have clarity on, you came with it with precision. Clarity with precision. Right on the money.
Yeah.
And to whom much is given, shut your face, people. Much is required of the same. And you have set yourself apart. And we want to thank you. I want to thank Tashia Grace, God's Grace Boris. We want to thank Brother Watson Duke.
Yes.
I'm waiting on Brother Farley and the rest. I don't know who you could get to come. Just let me know.
I
because
will.
through you, Zia owe me something. Right? And you remember that? So I'm inviting PNM too. I'm inviting everybody. I'm inviting my sister Denise Sayafat Angus. A lot of people believe that this is just a party, a PDP platform. But you see how I speak, you see how I move. I will entertain everybody with the same due respect. As long as they come here respectful, they are going to be treated likewise, or I'll have to end the show prematurely. I ain't sticking around and take anybody and the rudeness or the dictatorship. So I want to thank my daughter, Dr. Duke. She is the producer and the lady that make the thing happening.
Yes.
Yes. She even hire a team to work with your girl. You know, I have a team. So I have my people will talk to your people.
Right.
And your people could talk to my people. I want to thank all my guests, all of them who was here with when you came the last, the last as what? Counselor.
Counselor.
And now you are an area representative. People of Belle Garden, so proud of you. I know you ain't gonna get everybody, but it's all right.
Yeah, that's fine. That's quite all right.
You got enough. I want to thank your mama for having you. Yes, it wasn't easy for her to bring you into this world. This
I
lady know
know, I
all the
know.
story. And I said already, to whom much is given, much is required the same. And Father, when you bless some women with children, and the children come up and they grow up in the way that they should grow, you have to thank the parents for it.
True.
So, peace, I say, unto the people of Trinidad and Tobago, unto the people of the world, the diaspora, to all my friends and family across the world. I thank God for everything. I thank Him for this platform. As I await more people to speak truth to what? Power.
Power.
Your energy is well received.
Thank you. Thank you
Peace.
so much. Thank you.